I was in I went out and looking for some tile and for remodeling our hall bathroom. And I've been working on this for like, 6 months or so. I've gone out and then we get a different contractor and they want something else. I mean, we're finally committed to one contractor. Uh, but I went in to spend time at this tile place. This lady who worked there spent, she was very helpful. But things have changed since then. So I went in there this morning, and this other gal came up and was helpful, and we just got it done like this. And I saw the girl there, the gal that helped me out before, and I said, "Oh, hi," and she looked at me and just kind of. Uh, and I explained to her that we have a couple contractors and uh, we have a new one. We didn't go with the others, and she just kind of snubbed me almost, like it wasn't worth her time.
Yeah.
And so my statement is, she thought I was indecisive and not worth her time, any more of her
Mm.
time or whatever.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. All right. I'm just writing that down. Okay. So let's let's question it. She thought you were indecisive and not worth her time when she kind of snubbed you in that situation. So is that true?
Yeah.
And can you absolutely know it's true? If she thought you were indecisive and not worth her time?
No.
So how do you react? What happens when you believe that, or some part of you believed that she thought you were indecisive and not worth your time in that moment?
Um, I felt, well, I felt like a kind of a loser, and I could feel it during that moment. She snubbed me, and I thought, "Oh, this is interesting," because usually she's very friendly. She's the head staff, and she was just looked at me and then said hi, and so I just felt like, oh, and I explained about the contractors, and I think I thought that she felt, oh, woman is just so indecisive, and she doesn't have her act together, and I don't know. I just thought of all these negative things that she was judging me on, and I could see it happening, and just kind of tried. I don't know. I could see it happening, and I said, it's not true. Um, but it's still kind of been nagging on me today.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to kind of,
Like some part of you was still believing it, right? Like
yes,
the
yes, like, she wasn't friendly with me, so she must have been judging me.
yeah,
So it made
yeah,
me feel kind of not smart, Another word would be stupid, a little, not having my act together. And yeah, it didn't feel good. And I thought she looked uptight. I started judging her. She
start judging her back. Yeah,
she looked,
yeah,
yeah, she must be uptight or whatever her deal is. I didn't, yeah.
yeah. So that's reaction. Yep. And then, yeah, any other reactions from that, like how that affected your day, that moving forward in any way?
Um, it's been on my mind in the background, and I can kind of rationalize saying, uh, something's going on there, and I guess it makes me a little irritated. I've been a little irritated today, and yeah, and I'm a little tired from traveling, and so I just feel a little like a wounded animal, and I don't need, yeah. I was just surprised. And also I feel kind of let down because I thought we had a good rapport, and then she just kind of
Mm,
came back like uh, she didn't want to be bothered by me. So
yeah.
And
Okay, so all
oh, go ahead.
mhm, go ahead.
I was just going to say past images. Um, uh, I guess I could think of, like a school teacher, and I could ask them some questions, and you only could ask so many questions. And if you asked too many, then you were discarded or thought, you got to figure it out yourself, and you're too much bother.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting how that past image connects there and kind of fuels or brings up that same kind of feeling from a long time ago, right? Like, I don't want to take up too much space, or I'm asking for
Right.
too much.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so all of these are reactions, different kinds of reactions, but they happen. The nature of a reaction is that it happens spontaneously without you even thinking, even against your own will. It will happen. That's what happens when when you're believing this.
Right.
Even if just a tiny fraction of you is believing it,
I
it
know.
then
I,
these
I knew
reactions
what was
start.
happening. I just go, oh, and I could just kind of feel the pull in,
Yeah,
try to shake
yeah,
it off.
exactly.
Doesn't work.
Exactly. Like, oh no, you get pulled in, sucked in.
I
There's nothing you
kind
can
of
do
knew
about
what
it.
was happening, but I couldn't control it.
Yeah. That's what a reaction is. It's like when you hit that funny bone, or a place on your knee or whatever. It's like you hit it just right, and it's like it doesn't matter if you're concentrating to not have your knee
Yeah,
pop
yeah,
up; it's gonna pop up. You can't help it.
yeah.
That's reaction. It happens automatically.
Mm,
And so the cool thing about seeing that is there's an innocence in it, right? It's not I can't control things which I can't control, but it also shows that what's causing the reaction is this thought. That's what we're starting to explore here. It's like when you think, or even a part of you
yeah,
thinks that she thought you were indecisive, not worth her time, then all this stuff comes pouring out without much control.
yeah.
So yeah, so imagine that she does the same thing, kind of, that same kind of dismissal or snubbing, uh, and you're in the same situation, but let's imagine you didn't have the thought that she thought you were indecisive and not worth her time. Who would you be when she does that?
Well, it'd definitely be my own business. I'd be focused on this person that's helping me, and I wouldn't be kind of sidelined a little bit about this other thing that's going on. I, you know, I'd be more focused on what I was doing there, instead of being distracted by her. And I just kind of look and see that she's busy typing away on the computer, and maybe it doesn't have anything to do with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what she's up to, and I would just appreciate the time that she gave me in the past, and 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 I'd be gentle with myself when I could feel myself being drawn in. It's like you said, the hitting your funny bone or whatever. Um, I could see it happening, and I'd be mm, I could probably even smile at that instead of resisting it, and just see it for what it is. That it's my thoughts.
Yeah, and keep going back to like who you'd be if you didn't even have that thought at all. Like you see her not giving you the time of day, but you don't have any conclusion or idea in your mind that she's thinking you're indecisive or that you're not worth her time or anything like that.
I would just say, it's good to see you, which I did. Um, yeah, and I would think that maybe she's probably pretty busy because she's always friendly and that, and maybe something's on her mind. And I wouldn't get in her business. I would just figure it like I just look at it and basically not judge it. I would just see it for what it is. She's on her computer working away, looking at it. She's kind of facing like away from me, and she's probably yeah. And I'm being well taken care of with this other person, and I'm out the door. It's very efficient this morning. So I'm actually
Yeah.
glad that she didn't involve it, so she didn't kind of start asking these questions, and she trusted the person that worked for her. Yeah,
Yeah. It's really clear. I love when you said, "I'm just out the door," It's like you can see how when the thought isn't there that, she thinks I'm indecisive, not worth her time. When it is there, like, I'm caught in this thing of like, "Oh, wait, I need to somehow change that," or there's something sticky about that. But if that thought isn't there, that whatever she's thinking, it's like, "Okay, got what I needed, gotta go." And it's this freedom to move on when the thought isn't there.
yeah,
So that thought makes all the difference. You add that thought to the equation, suddenly it becomes stressful. If that thought isn't in the system at all, then the same thing is just more of an observation and then moving on. So, how would you turn the thought around? She thought I was indecisive and not worth her time.
I'm sorry. My screen froze a second. What was that?
Oh, sure, yeah. So, how would you turn the thought around? She thought I was indecisive and not worth her time.
I thought I was indecisive and not worth my time. I really kind of feel I've done this the spring. I mean, spent a lot of time on this, and it just felt like it wasn't worth my time. And I'm not sure, because it's not my field. I'm not a interior decorator, so I was trying to figure
Mhm.
out, is this the best tile? And I mean, this design, what's in it? Uh, and so I was feeling indecisive. I wanted somebody to say, this is what I would suggest you do, blah blah blah. And so I was kind of going with my gut of the tile color. So yeah, that's true. I was indecisive. I would have liked, since she's
Mm,
like kind of like the expert, the head person. I would have liked to have had her come over and say, "Oh, what do you got there? Oh yeah, I really think that's a good idea by just having them cut the tile and use that for your border instead of what we originally went with another contrasting tile." So yeah, I can
yeah.
see that now. I mean, I could see that
That's cool.
I was indecisive, and I
Yeah.
wanted her to come
Like,
over and kind of consult, I mean, kind of be there and comfort me that I made a good choice.
yeah,
But she didn't do
reassure
it.
her and yeah. Mhm.
So
So that's the baseline, like,
yeah,
that you've been in this for 6 months or something like that. You had different contractors, you've gone to different types of tile, like, and this feeling, like, there's almost a self-judgment already there,
yeah,
like, that's been going on, and then it's so easy to just when she snubs you, just imagine that that's what she's thinking, but you were already thinking it, so that's
yeah,
very cool to
yeah.
see.
That's interesting. Yeah, because as soon as I said that, I thought I was indecisive. Um, I could say, yeah, that's true, very true.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What's interesting is when you see someone else thinking, when you imagine someone else is thinking that, then part of the reaction, it can become defensive. Like,
right.
I don't want to really own that. But what this turnaround's pointing to is that yeah, wait, I actually was indecisive. And as soon as I really own that, then there's no defense, and there's sort of this, okay, yeah, this is just the process, the way it's going, and it's, I'm not an interior decorator,
Yeah,
so it's a, yeah.
yeah. I wanted her to come
But
over and make
and you wanted her to come over and, yeah, and reassure and
you
all that.
reassure me that yes, this was a good choice, and she didn't. So I, like you said, I retaliated in my mind, thinking, well, Joy, she's kind of being standoffish.
Yeah, yeah. So that's it. Like the mind reacts by judging her and then by judging myself,
Yeah,
and both things were happening there.
yeah.
So how let's look at that second turnaround, which we are just kind of alluding to. That is, I thought she was indecisive, or maybe more importantly, not worth my time. That would also be an opposite. Did you find anything interesting in that?
Um, well, I thought she was indecisive. Um, like let's say previously when I worked with her, uh, I thought she was indecisive and not worth my time. Um, I really didn't want any of her feedback because I felt pretty comfortable with using the the plain tile and not having a border because that's she was adding this stuff and um, yeah, I just thought that I didn't want her really didn't want her any more input. I made my mind up and I was ready to go. I already,
Yeah,
yeah, wasn't worth my time to kind of belabor a further discussion with her since I just had one with this other gal.
right,
Mm,
right. So even though you wanted like some reassurance, on the other hand, you knew that she would just open more questions and maybe make prolong the indecisiveness,
yeah,
and you didn't want that. Yeah.
no,
Hmm.
because I thought I made up my
And
mind.
how
That
about
was a good choice.
you'd already made up your mind?
Yeah,
So how about when she actually, what you judged as snubbing you, when she did that, um, can you find anything where you were thinking, she's not worth my time, that may have come up as well?
that she's not worth my time.
Mhm. Because I
Mm,
thought she was not worth my time. That's the turnaround, like that's the second part of this turnaround.
um, I'm not sure.
And it may not be true, but we're just exploring it. Like the original thought is she thought I was not worth her time, and the turnaround is I think she's not worth my time.
yeah, yeah, I had a limited amount of time there, and when I have worked with her, she's very detailed and thorough, and I didn't need that anymore. I didn't want it anymore. I've been putting some thought into it on the web and yada yada, and it wasn't worth her. Wasn't worth. I did not want. It wasn't worth my time to have her come in and give more feedback.
Yeah.
I'm really
So it
glad she
sounds
didn't.
similar.
Yeah. Anyway, it goes back to what we already discussed. And
Exactly. Yeah. So this is one cohesive thought. I thought she was indecisive and not worth my time, and I really didn't want her feedback anymore.
yeah,
Yeah. So the cool thing about that turnaround is it's like, once, if you really see that and feel that, then it's like if she snubs me, it's like, great, okay. I just got spared an extra half hour of more possibilities that she could have poured on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I thought of
yeah,
that. It's like, well, this is nice. I'm getting out so quickly. But I didn't connect the dots between that. This was kind of over here, and then this thought was over here. And
yeah.
yeah,
Because the mind grabs onto this idea of her snubbing, the idea of like her not liking me or something, and that
yeah,
becomes so distracting
yeah,
that it's easy to miss the benefit of her snubbing me is that I don't have to go down that road of more possible decisions to make and all of that. So yeah, yeah. Okay, is there another turnaround? She thought I was indecisive and not worth her time.
Well, how about she thought I was decisive?
Okay,
I
how could that be?
and not worth her time. Well,
And
they,
and worth her time.
yeah,
Like
and
she thought I was decisive and worth her time. That would be a full opposite.
yeah, I that's kind of interesting. Um, it definitely takes me out of the victim role.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks I was decisive and worth her time. Wow. Um,
How's that possible?
uh, I gave the gal some feedback saying, that's really, I really like this. I like it having it more subtle instead of having this border be kind of an accent. Uh, and, just some of the stuff like that I was saying. And we went through, I made sure that the spreadsheet was updated that they print out. And so I came across as being decisive. And she did think, and she could see that. She turned around, she goes, "Okay, you guys got it under control." I mean, she's been doing this for a long time, and she's probably felt good that she could kind of see the progression of how I started with her, and she probably thought that it was worth her time to invest in me at the beginning, in May, April, May, and uh, she thought it was worth her time to work with
Yeah,
me because I pretty much had it all. Um, I was ready to purchase the tile just about.
that's cool. So even though there was like a lot of maybe decision making and indecisiveness in the beginning, that was part of the process. But in the end, you were decisive and you actually were ready to purchase. So yeah, she may have seen you that way.
Yeah, that really swings it around when I think that she thought that I was decisive and worth her time. Um, I just really have been dwelling on that part uh, that was not worth her time. Um, it just it makes me feel yeah, insignificant and not and worthless basically. And when turning around to and worth her time, I could really see how uh, I could see her sitting there and thinking, well, that was really glad that she worked with me and to get me um, set up with this tile.
Yeah.
And that's probably why she didn't
So
spend
then
much time because she thought, you already got it. Looks like you got it together.
that's it.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah,
That kind of blows me
exactly.
away.
Different perspective, different
Yeah.
possibility, that
Yeah.
same situation. That makes all the difference.
Mm.
Yeah.
I kind of feel humbled right now.
Yeah, and
All
that's a
these
good thing,
thoughts,
like
and it was a different, totally different story.
mhm, mhm. And I like the word humbled, like, there's humbled just takes me down to normal, like to where the reality is. Like
Yeah.
humiliated takes me down further to like, now I shouldn't have, or that kind of thing, which makes me feel bad again. But like if I was, if I just see through my story, it does leave me humbled and just in a way more open and more um, just even minded in the way that I see it. So that's what this work does. It balances the story. It cuts through the story and finds the balance point. And the balance point is closer to reality. Even though we don't know what her thoughts were exactly, we've balanced out what we thought were her thoughts with what could have also been her thoughts in the opposite direction. And they kind of cancel each other out, and you're left with a place of more neutrality, which is more peace.
That's what it feels like.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you.